All right, I guess the capital raising season is heating up at this time. But let's head on to our first conversation now. See, yesterday there was weakness in the official window for the naira against the dollar, an enormous 2% loss at the NAFEM window. There are also reports of the naira breaching the 2,000 naira mark. That's against the pound sterling. But we did see strength with the pound sterling earlier today. Well, let's get an outlook for the second half of 2024. That's for the naira. Joining us now for this conversation is Oladipo Ajayi. He's a head FX and fixed income at Chapel Hill Denham. Joining me via Zoom. Great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me this afternoon.
Yeah, so it seems the volatility is back with the naira. Hope it's not back yet, but yeah, we're seeing weakness at this time. What do you think is happening? Should we be worried?
Well, I think in a situation whereby you have a market that is open, you expect to see volatility where when there is when the demand actually outweighs the supply. And that's currently what we are seeing on the market as we speak. And we have not been seeing a huge inflow of effects from foreign investors in the market in the last weeks. And so also the central bank has not been aggressively participating in that window. So we expect in such a time like this for you to see the pressure on the currency. And that's exactly what is currently happening now. And also, when you look at what's happening at the power market, currently we don't have a window that's actually catering for invisible demand. There are people preparing for their summer holiday as we speak. You have people preparing for payment of school fees for the new academic year. And these are some of the things that you expect to actually put pressure on the currency. And that's exactly what we are currently seeing in the market.
We know summer is upon us at this time, but do you think that we should just expect weakness, in this period, or maybe the central bank will have enough in their arsenal to actually defend the naira in this period?
Yeah, I think the central bank will actually have to rise up to the occasion, and that is their duty. Their duty is to actually come to the market when they found that naira is aggressively being on the price, and they want to come to the market and serving this situation. And this is a very good time for the central bank to actually visit the market. And we pretty well that currently the foreign reserve is currently swelling and is currently north of $35 billion. So it simply means that the central bank has the muscle currently to actually be able to actually solve the situation. So I see the central bank actually coming to the market to actually solve the situation, most especially in the NAFEM window. But my concern is that how would central bank actually cater for people that actually need funds in the invisible segment? Because currently the BDC are currently going through reorganization, and you all recently announced that the CAC is currently looking at actually rescinding the registration of over 4,000 BDC, and I think it's good that what the central bank is doing to actually get to actually institutionalize BDC, but at the same time they must actually find a way to actually create a window that can actually cater for people while they are trying to actually restructure their business. And so I feel that the central bank, maybe in the meantime, may continue to use the commercial banks as an avenue to actually meet this segment of the market's demand. Because if that is not done, what we will see is that we will continue to see aggressive pressure on the currency in the parallel market, and we think that can, one way or the other, impact what we are seeing in the NAFEM window.
All right, and definitely we can see this happening with major currencies in Africa. We're also seeing major economies having to deal with high debt issues at this time. So looking at the currencies in Africa, we've seen the talks about the ECHO, that's the ECHO's currency, being talked about again at this time. So is this what will save most of the currencies in the West African region? Do you think the ECHO is what we need right now, since we're all dealing with currency weakness at this point, most of us?
Well, I don't think totally that is what will salvage the situation. And we have AFTA on the table that we have not fully implemented. And so I don't think having a uniform currency will be the savior. As we speak, we've seen that happen in the European zone where they actually introduced the euro currency. And of course, to a great extent, that's also backed by the performance of the economy of these countries. So it simply means that no matter what whether we actually create a uniform currency around that, that will also be backed by the activity, the trade, and also the capacity of the countries in question to be able to actually develop the economy by actually becoming more of a producing economy than the consuming economy. So I think is that the problem is the fact that we are not producing as much as we should as countries in Africa. And this is something that we need to look at. How can we actually further improve trade among African countries? How can we go beyond actually selling raw material to actually adding value to this thing, to the raw material to become more like a final produce and before actually exporting to outside nations. So I think it's more like trying to actually find a shortcut to the solution. And for me, I don't think that would be the best way around it.
So uniform currency, we might not see long-term potential with that if we do not produce. That's looking at this West African region. But let's look at the global market now. We're seeing the DXY. There's some weakness there with the dollar index. It's down about 0.18% last time I checked. But is this some kind of bright spot for most of these other currencies that have been struggling, with the dollar being weak against a basket of currencies?
Yeah, as we speak, we know the reason why the dollar is a bit weak as currently, and it's because a lot of people are currently expecting the Fed to become a bit dovish towards the end of the year, and we expect that one way or the other to impact the currency, and that's what other currencies are currently enjoying. But if at the end of the day inflation continues to bite and the Fed decided to actually maintain their stance that they are not going to actually touch the rate this year, we will likely see more like a pullback in that direction. So I don't think it's totally a good day already until when we start seeing what will happen by the end of the year on the back of the Fed.
Right, we'll definitely watch out for that. But what are you seeing? We're in the second half of 2024 now. What are your expectations, for the naira after maybe the summer season demand, when we've been able to pull through that? Where do you see stability in this second half? Do you see strengthening at all?
Well, for me, I think I expect the naira to actually strengthen by second half of the year, and that's basically based on the capacity of the central bank to actually defend the currency. So also, currently rates are at elevated level as we speak, and it simply means that there's the opportunity for foreign investors to continue to actually patronize our market. Basically the portfolio investors, and also there's every tendency that Nigeria may actually be present in the Eurobond market sometime this quarter. So what it simply means is that it also improve the muscle of the central bank to actually defend the currency in that wise, or to actually meet demand. And so also we have seen the fiscal policy guys also currently back on the table around the stabilization fund, and they also mentioned how they want to improve oil production from current levels of around like 1.5 million barrels to like about 2 million barrels per day. What this will mean is that it will improve the dollar revenue that actually will accrue to the country, and it also means that it will also improve the power of the central bank to actually meet the FX obligations of the country. So when you sum all these things together, it's a pointer to the fact that the second half will actually be better than what we have seen in the first half. It simply currently seems we have noticed that the volatility has dropped significantly, because for a long time we've been around 8,400 and 8,500 for a long time. So it simply means that one way or the other, the volatility has down, and currently, so it simply means that by second half of the year we may not see that aggressive volatility like what we saw in the first half of the year. By so doing, coupled with the fact that we expect the central bank to have finalized all the arrangement with BDC, and also the partnership between the BDC and the IMTOs, we expect to start seeing the dividend of that in the market. So when you sum all this together, what the fiscal policy guys are doing, coupled with what the monetary policy guys are doing as well, I think it's a pointer to the fact that we expect a better naira in the second half of the year.
Well, definitely, baby. Before I let you go, we know investors are having to deal with high inflation and currency volatility at this time. What do you think is the best hedge in this second half?
Well, as we speak currently, for me, I think there's a lot of opportunity in the market. You have the equity market is actually giving a great return, and if you look at the first quarter, the EFI actually returned over 30%, and that is as at that time greater than the inflation figures. And also we also see opportunity in the fixed income market as well. Effective yield of 1 year paper is currently very close to 30% as we speak, going by the last OMO issue by the Central Bank of Nigeria. So when you look at these, you feel that there's a lot of opportunity in this regard that can actually help pushing the effect of the inflationary pressure.
All right, definitely be watching out for that. Thank you so much. Always great having your perspective. Mr. Oladipo Ajayi is the head FX and fixed income at Chapel Hill Denham. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we're going to head straight to the markets. That's in a moment. Just stay with us.